Alrighty, welcome everybody. Again, my name is John Morton. At this point, we're all in week 3 of Psychology of Play. We've considered how play affects us individually, and we've talked a little bit about our play histories, our play personalities, how play affects our brain, our flow, our creativity. So now we're ready to take a look at what happens when we use these strategies on a larger scale. And just, quick show of hands, who has... who's expected this class to be, whose expectations have not been met, and who's kind of been surprised with what they've come across? Kyle. All right, Kyle. Well, that's good to hear. Were you pleasantly surprised, or was it a not as pleasant surprise? Pleasant. All right, cool. Well, that's good to hear. Um, so on to what we're talking about today. Um, kind of the ideas we're going to be discussing today. Motivation. So what drives us? Self-determination theory, kind of the inward strive to be our best. Gamification, which is kind of it's been discussed in the readings, but kind of how to make fun out of work. Fun theory, and mixing work and play. So in the reading, you'll have a little bit better of an understanding, of Dan Pink's A Whole New Mind. We're in a conceptual age, and what this means is, historically we had, the industrial age and then the information age. Today, society has shifted to what we're calling the conceptual age. And, kind of, well, what does that mean? We're reaping the benefits of information that's all around us. We're here experiencing it all the time at our fingertips. Oh, there's no screen. Is that supposed to be blacked out? Hmm. It is not supposed to be blacked out. I apologize for that. Let's see what's going on. There we go. Can you see it now? It's good now. Okay. Here we go. We can go back through. There's me. I'm the one talking. What we're talking about today, everyone is good with the visuals. Everyone can see. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm doing my best to have an excellent beard. Alrighty, so here we are, conceptual age. We have information at our fingertips now. It's everywhere. Google. It's one of those things. I remember, being a younger person and out to dinner, and you have a, you know, uh, meeting of the minds, and you want to argue a point, and now it's kind of, it all gets solved with, well, go Google it and we'll check and we'll find out. Um, it's definitely, that's where we are. On the flip side of that, though, we've seen information replacing certain jobs. Those that are left brain tasks, such as logical sequential work. And a lot of that information is, it gets turned into computers. Cataloging information. We don't need the expansive library systems that we used to have, where books are everywhere, because we all have it. It's on the internet. It's close at hand. It's at our fingertips. When you think about how many books you can fit onto your phone, or an e-reader, or iPad, or whatever the device is. We've kind of taken taken a lot of people. Yeah, Google and YouTube. Yeah, I mean, almost anything you want to find is there. I can't tell you how many times I've had to fix appliances around my house, or my wife's done the same thing. We're say, oh, well, the garbage disposal is broken, and then we go on YouTube and we find the answer, and we're like, oh, we can fix this. And it's been nice because it saved us a lot of money. We don't have to call a repairman or every time we have something go wrong. So it's interesting how access to that information. It empowers us at a certain level. Cheap Halloween costume ideas, yeah, definitely. There's there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, everyone can kind of go online and figure out a lot of the answers. So we keep going. A lot of times, an attractive candidate in the workforce has changed over the years. What's important now versus what's important beforehand were, definitely two different things. Before maybe we were looking for somebody with a certain skill set, or, you can do, certain tasks, or you're strong, or, whatever it is. And nowadays we're looking for a lot of people with more imagination and creativity. That's definitely one of the things that seems to be a lot more popular. Especially with tech companies and things like that. Artistry, empathy, inventiveness, and big picture thinking are some of the things that we hear about. We hear the Googles of the world talking about those type of things, but really they're the skill set that are important in today's business world, and they're non-tangible. It's artisticness or inventiveness, and you can say, oh, well, I've invented these things, but they're kind of those secondary, they're not what we necessarily call hard skills. They're called soft skills. So what a hard skill would be something, I know how to do HTML coding, and that's a hard skill. And a soft skill is, I know how to communicate effectively with my peers. Which isn't something that, it's not necessarily you can take a test on, although there are a lot of communication classes and tests. But that's kind of the difference of what those two things are. Obviously for your industries, they're varied, but you're already utilizing these skills. You're developing mastery of your skills, both hard skills and soft skills, which gives you an advantage in today's markets. So, what moves us to action at work? So what actually motivates employees? That's kind of one of the things that we're looking at. Let's take a look at what causes us to perform and achieve work. And a lot of people, will probably be surprised. Each of you, feel free to jump in, shout out what motivates you at work or in school to get things done. What's motivating for you? Family, okay. Music, understanding why I'm doing it. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. Music, money, bills. All right, money seems to be a big thing. Promotions and careers, getting job done, going home, clear goals, some space to accomplish them. Okay, yeah, no, those are definitely all some ideas. We scroll down. The formula that everyone has kind of always looked at. Is something that essentially looks like this. Anyone kind of want to yay or nay? Is this what we would agree with in terms of what motivates people? Feel free to yes or no. Indeed, yep. That's what pushes us. Okay, sometimes. So maybe on the fence about that. Well, according to this, we're going to say that's not what motivates everyone. That's kind of one of the misconceptions that we have. About the reasons behind why people work and what motivates them. The secret to motivation. This is where it gets interesting. Those are extrinsic. Oh, William Greenberg, you are you've read ahead, I think, and I appreciate that. So again, in the reading, Daniel Pink pinpoints the secrets to high performance is the drive to do things for their own sake. So when we can do things just because we want to do them, just because, it's the next thing, when we don't have someone saying, hey, John, grade all the assignments and you'll get a bonus, or something like that. Bryant, take care of that. That's not a problem. By all means. So again, moving on with that, things that people are looking for: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So autonomy, we want to be self-directed. We don't want to be micromanaged. And that's one of the things that I have. And I really appreciate that. I'm able to teach the class. I don't quite get free reign. I can't just make up everything that goes along, but there's a lot of tweaks to the curriculum and to the material, where I get to have a little bit of my personal flair comes out. Second point of that, mastery, which is basically saying we have the urge to be better at stuff we find fun and satisfying and enjoyable. We want to be the best at it. That's absolutely a huge thing. I'm sure each of you, in your individual industries, you really want to be amazing at what you do. You don't sign up for school for whatever it is. No one wants to be a terrible recording artist or awful at doing mobile development. Everyone wants to be their best, and that's a huge motivating factor for students and for employees. Purpose is the last one. We really, to drive it home, I'll ask all of you, is there anyone who came here who said, I want to get into game design or producing or sports marketing or film, music, art, writing, etc. Who just says, I just want to fly under the radar and not be noticed and be mediocre. Did anyone come here? Oh, right. There you go. Jonathan was, he said he was raised and always told to be the best he can, whatever he does. And I think that that's a lot of us. No one, is spending the time and money and putting the effort in, to be mediocre. Right. We all want to be rock stars. That's a absolute fact, and I'm glad that everyone is hopefully on board with that. And if you're not, maybe some questions to ask yourself. When I was in school, I wanted to do well, so I sat in the front and I paid attention and I asked questions and I turned my work in, because, right, it was really important to me to do my best so I could be the best when I got out of school. Did these things, when you were picking out a school, were these ideas that came to mind? And you feel free to type in the box. Absolutely. Cool. Yeah. All right. And I'm sure that when you were talking, with the admissions department, I'm sure they were probably talking to you about a lot of these same things, and I hope that a lot of you are enjoying some of these, even just in class, is with our assignments, especially, we try to focus them. I don't want to micromanage anyone, which is, why we have some autonomy. There's an idea, there's a goal, we want you to get there. But we want you to kind of be able to drive the bus yourself a little bit, which is why there's so many options for how you can work out your assignments, because we want everyone to use their creative skills, as they have them. So moving on from that, what motivates you? Is there anyone who wants to share? How do you keep your creativity up? And feel free, if anyone wants to talk, you can always just raise your hand. More than happy to call on people, or you can just jump in the chat box. Fun is the primary motivator. Writing my dreams down in the morning. Awesome. And goals. Okay. Awesome. Thinking about the future. Yeah, those are all great things. We all want to have a brighter tomorrow. Yeah, building a life where you love what you do. Absolutely. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And it's great. If you have a place where you're happy to go every day, it's pretty awesome. Um, we're moving on a little bit, and we're taking a closer look at motivation as it relates to the candle problem. And if you've already read ahead on the candle problem, you'll know about this. Thanks for the nice pick. We like some of our slides. They're a lot of fun. Is everyone familiar with this? And if you are, it's in the reading. If not, it's still in the reading. But this is an experiment where participants were asked to fix a lit candle on the wall in some way, and they were given the materials that are shown in the picture, but to do it in a way so that nothing would, so no wax would drip on the floor. And they had a lighter, thumbtacks in the box, and a candle. Yes, thinking outside the tack box. I like that. But yeah, no, that's the problem that they were given. And for the experiment, there were two test groups. One was called the low drive group, and they were told that the study was testing problem solving to see which would be best. For a later experiment, they're offered no prize for their work, and that's why they, people assumed that they wouldn't be as motivated. Then there was the second group, which was considered the high drive group, and they were told that depending on how fast they could solve the problem, they could win money, and they were also told that only 25% of them would win the cash prizes. So it kind of instilled in them the idea of limited resources, and gave them some of those things. And as some of you are expressing in the text box, you think, oh, what would be the fastest group? And it was a bit of a surprise. When rewards were offered, it took 3 minutes longer to solve the problem. And most of us would say, that's not what I would think. And we come down to our idea. It's not all about the Benjamins. Excuse me for a minute. I'm just taking a sip of water. Thanks. Sorry about that. Right. So it's really, extrinsic motivation wasn't always the thing that worked for everybody. And what was found was that the process of turning it into a competition for the limited resources created mild levels of stress in the test subjects. And when a person is under stress, they kind of their instinctual responses kick in, their fight or flight kicks in, and it takes over the brain and the body, and basically the creative thinking side, or problem solving areas of the brain get shut down because it's not relevant to when you get into a limited resources fight or flight. You're not really thinking creatively, you're thinking about survival. So it's interesting. The experiment kind of shows that rewards can actually narrow your focus and restrict your possibilities. So it's not always the best way to get people moving. It's not always about the money. So more creative tasks versus more mechanical tasks. It's fun. I like even just the text for that. It makes me smile. There really is a time and a place for just about everything. And the same goes with rewards. Research shows that if a task is mechanical, like working on an assembly line, something along those lines, then incentives and rewards work really well. It's here's the mechanical task, do it faster, make more widgets, and you get a bigger bonus. However, when the tasks require higher level of functioning, such as creativity, problem solving, incentives and rewards are counterproductive. So right, again, when we are looking for the higher functions, incentives don't always really do the job. So just kind of something to keep in mind, if you're ever in a position where, you have a creative team and, you try to, set them against each other or give them a competition, it might not be the best way to keep everybody motivated. But if you have, two teams doing, assembling widgets, a competition might not be the worst idea. So cookies. Businesses would benefit from knowing, when to offer rewards and when not to. When businesses pay people enough to take the issue of money off the table, it's fostering the environment of limitless return. We instinctively know, when we're paid well, it communicates that we're valued, that our skills and our expertise are viewed as company assets. So, and I'm sure some of you have, everyone has a slightly different job. But, I've definitely worked jobs where I didn't feel like I was valued. I've definitely worked, fast food or waiting tables, or I've worked in a warehouse when I was in college. And, I didn't, yeah, kind of knows the feeling. I didn't feel like I was a valuable asset to that team. And as I've gotten older and my skills have become, less about, how strong my back is, and more about, my mental functioning, it's been nice, because at a certain point, you end up feeling appreciated for the work that you're doing, and you are, you're a valuable asset. I'm sorry, I'm just reading through what William said. He said, hey, I went through instructor training for the Navy, and intrinsic, extrinsic motivators were a big point. Yeah, definitely. That's a huge thing, and right, certain groups are really, intrinsically motivated, and some are extrinsically motivated. So definitely, you hit it right on the head. So self-determination theory explains human behavior from a completely different angle, than the traditional behavioral theories. It says we're wired towards personal growth, that we're motivated intrinsically, which is internal for everyone. If it's in the reading, but you have intrinsic motivation, which comes from within you, and extrinsic, which means an outside force is working upon you. So an extrinsic motivation might be, I'll get a financial bonus from my boss, and my boss has motivated me. And an intrinsic is, an internal. I have a strong desire to be better at juggling, so I practice juggling a lot. But it could be anything. I just use juggling as an example. Our self-determination basically forms who we are as people. So it's a lot about, who we are, what motivates us, and what drives us above and beyond, having our needs met. So it begins with what are described as universal human needs, which are competence, autonomy, relatedness. When these needs are satisfied, we're motivated, productive, and happy. Google exemplifies how businesses and employees can benefit from using the principles of self-determination theory, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. There's a video we're going to be watching here shortly, so just stay tuned for that. What we are going to talk about is gamification. Stemming from self-determination theory is the idea of gamification. Gamification strategically implements fun. It creates an environment of engagement and motivation. Gamification techniques really strive to leverage people's natural desire for achievement and self-expression. We have an article titled The 26 Elements of Gamification, Marketing Strategies listed in the reading on gamification this week, so make sure to check those out. And as a sneak peek, some include badges, leaderboard, points. Those are kind of some of the ideas behind gamification. And we see it everywhere. What have you all what experiences have you had with gamification to get you interested in or engaging with products? Have you had anything, or can you think of anything specific experiences you've had with this concept? either in your personal life or in your professional life. And feel free to chime in the box, or if anyone wants to raise their hand. Doing a Jeopardy type of game in class, absolutely. I definitely remember having teachers who, on the day before an exam, would play a game of Jeopardy, and it was tons of fun because you got to play a game and you got to study for class, and hopefully you were taking notes. Anyone else? Okay, so PAX 2015 E3 got me moving forward in my media path. How would you say it was? Was that a gamification strategy on their behalf? Or does anyone else have any ideas about gamification? Anyone at all? Okay, Walmart training, several games you played. Uh, Reaching out through play. Oh, my hand is raised. I'm so sorry. Kyle, go ahead.
Gamification. When I was a kid, my dad used to play chess and reward me with another video game. And whenever I was good, he would reward me with yet another video game. I gained quite the library from that. He turned it into fun. I had four brothers too, and it turned into a bit of a competition sometimes. But the majority of the time, we had to use teamwork to gain what we wanted. And he used rewards like that to really get us somewhere. It was kind of fun.
Awesome, awesome. That's really cool. I'm gonna take you off real quick. Off mute you again. Uh, I was thinking about this when when I was putting this lecture together, and I thought about one of the biggest ones when you think about the question of what's interested you in products, and I thought about who does this really really well. And I don't love them because I know it's not good for me. But McDonald's is amazing at this. Think about McDonald's Monopoly game and how people go crazy for it. But it takes consuming food and makes a game out of it. Anything like that. Even Happy Meal, something like that. Um, you put a toy in food and people are just start loving it. Justin says drill sergeants had us do exercises like squats and pretend you were space invaders. Yeah, they threw socks at you. The winning team got to clean the bathroom. Well, there you go. See, definitely still right, definitely a way to gamify it. In this week's reading, you're going to learn specific gamification strategies that you can implement in everyday life, and you'll all see that in your discussion board. But the key is to identify the ones that fit you. So definitely making sure that when you gamify something, you think about the people. Either it's yourself and making sure you want to play, or making sure it's something else people are going to enjoy. Um, so if everyone can go into the materials section on this page, and then click on the link that says piano staircase. And then play that video, I'm sorry. And I'll come back here in a few minutes after everyone has played that. All right, so hopefully everyone was able to see that. Yeah, it's a really neat thing. But it's funny, they said they had 66% more people were taking the stairs. Just because they made it fun. When you can make the stairs fun, you've really you've really done something. Um, so yeah, that's definitely something that you know. Um, it's just mind boggling to think, you think of something as mundane as stairs, and then making them enjoyable. That needs to be everywhere. Yeah, no, it's definitely something, where gamifying can really be, something that you can solve a global issue. You can encourage people to get healthier. uh, take the stairs, free up the escalators. Definitely a fun way to kind of, take a different look at something, as mundane as just climbing up the stairs. Um, all right. So for the last leg of our lecture today, I want to talk to you a little bit more about some of the leaders in play. Uh, People who've done, or companies like this who've done a fantastic job mixing work and play. We all see gamification ingrained into, work culture, with companies who are beating out their competition. Zappos, Google, Pixar, some of the big names who everyone just kind of thinks of, right off the top of their head. These companies are creating, the appropriate conditions for people to motivate themselves. Basically, people are working smarter and not harder. And these companies are leaders in their industry because they really push the boundaries of, where play ends and where work begins. It's a really cool, idea and topic. But we'll actually go back into materials and click on Inside Google. That'll play, and we'll come back in a few minutes again. All right, all right. Awesome. Yeah, no, it's really cool. That's a super fun video. Hope everybody's kind of getting that wrapped up. Reminds me of the Brainasium from Grandma's Boy so much. Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. When you're able to um, mix things, work and play, um, creating an environment of creativity and imagination ends up leading to higher efficiency, better performance, higher levels of happiness. And it's kind of one of those things that's counterintuitive to traditional thinking, motivation, human behavior. How people think that things are supposed to get done. And the results speak for themselves. You have these really big, huge, successful companies. And they're the ones who are mixing work and play, and they have innovative leaders. They aren't cookie cutter companies. They have a fun atmosphere, and they know their why. They know why they're doing it. They're really setting out to be trailblazers, and they know who they're reaching out to. They know who their target audience is. They know what their goals are. And that's what really makes them shine as companies. So how can you shine? This week, we're going to learn a little bit about the value of play on a larger level, but everything can be applied to you as an individual. Determining what motivates you from the inside out will help you along your journey and help you to shine a little bit. Oh no, Kyle had an unskippable 1-minute ad. Those are the worst. Unskippable ads. Oh, my heart goes out to you, Kyle. That's rough. So to summarize, we were talking about, again, motivation, self-determination theory, gamification, fun theory, and mixing work and play together. Here are all of our references. And at this point, I'm definitely open to comments or questions. Does anyone have any questions? You can put them in here. That's why I preload all the course stuff at the beginning of class. Yes, definitely important to do. That's a pretty smart idea, actually. I'm thoroughly impressed with that. If you guys, if anyone's ever in the materials section, Kyle has his hand up again. Kyle, you're getting called on. Hey, Kyle, you're up. What's up?
I had a question.
Sure.
So how would I really incorporate this into my final challenge for the week?
How would you incorporate
Gamification
into your final challenge for this week? What is your project topic?
My team, I wanted them to choose their own, be kind of original instead of one of the lists that they had.
Okay.
And they seem to have picked a quite difficult topic, gun control.
Okay. And you're wondering about gamification strategies for gun control.
Something to that effect, yeah.
Well,
some ideas that get things going.
You know what? There's actually they've done programs on this, and without saying one way or the other how I feel about that, as a topic, I know that historically police departments have done gun turn-ins. There've been different incentives, but basically the police department would allow people, any citizens, to come and turn in guns, no questions asked. And they would get something in return. I know at one point, I think it was, they got a pair of Michael Jordan sneakers. I know certain sports teams have offered tickets. You turn in a gun, you get a pair of tickets to a game. So those have definitely been, kind of gamification techniques where the idea was, obviously to get guns off the streets. So that was definitely one of those ways. I'm sure there's other ways out there. I would say, I'd probably look at, community involvement when it comes to guns. and kind of look at that. So without trying to do your project for you or give you too many ideas, does that kind of give you an idea of what we'd be looking for, what gamification would be in something like gun control?
Yeah, that gets the juices flowing. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, sure thing. Does anyone else have any questions? They use gamification in games like Grand Theft Auto 5. That is absolutely, but that's just a game. That's not. It's not making gamification. I guess is one of the things where a game is obviously already you're doing it for because it's a game, but gamification is where you take a task that might not be ordinarily like a fun task, and trying to figure out how to make that enjoyable or incentivize people for that. Does that make more sense? Does anyone else have any more questions? Yes, something mundane turned into an engaging activity. Absolutely. Yep. Trying to get the hang of it. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yes, you can do it. I agree with Kyle. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Again. Yep. More ideas about gamifying things. Yep. Exactly. Getting people involved. How do you get people involved? How do you incentivize people? Um, Well, if anyone has questions, feel free to stick around. If you don't have any questions, we are done for the day. I'm not going to have any more instruction, but definitely, if you have questions, please feel free to stick around, hang out. If you want to, wait until people have kind of filed out, and you have anything else, feel free to. But feel free also to raise your hand, jump in. I'll be here for a few more minutes just in case anyone has anything else. But if everyone leaves, I will close it down and we'll all go home. Yeah, happy to be able to give you training, Nicholas. Thank you for being so positive. Oh yes, no, the second class is happening. Yes, it's happening here. After my lecture is done, there will be a second lecture. Yes. Sorry about that. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's we're here. Your students and we're instructors, so really our job is to make things easier for everyone to understand. The second go-to training will be a separate training, though. It won't be in the same room necessarily. So I don't know if that helps make things easier, if that clears it up. Nope. Thank you. You have a good one as well.